Hello and welcome, guys. We continue talking about intermediate cognitive skills. In the previous video, we discussed Socratic questioning and also how our core beliefs appear. So please feel free to check it out. And also remember that the biggest thank you can give to me is sharing this video in your social media, social networks, with your friends, with your family members, with anyone you know, and also putting a like, writing a comment, and so on. So thank you very much if you do it. And today we're going to continue talking about core beliefs, assumptions, and where they come from. And today we're going to do like whole analysis of your core beliefs. So let's begin. Exercise number 1 that I want you to do is remembering all kinds of maybe problems or issues or difficult feelings that you have during your present life. Maybe it's issues at work, maybe it's issues with not being able to discipline yourself, maybe it's issues in relationships, and so on. So your goal is just to write down all the possible negative things you have. If at least 5 will be enough, but you can write more if you want. And second, you should write all the 5 or more positive things that you have in your life. Like, for example, you manage to exercise regularly, or for example, you manage not to overspend money and because of it you can have some financial stability, or for example, you find it easy to make new friends and socialize with them. So you need to make a list of 5 worst things in your life and best things in your life. Feel free to pause the video and take your time to do this exercise in writing and then come back to me. So once you do that, I want you to use your falling arrow technique that I let you know in the previous videos to find out which core beliefs stand behind your successes and your difficulties. So, for example, if you find that it's difficult for you to make new friends and to socialize, maybe the core belief behind all that is that you deep inside feel like you're, you're unlovable, let's say, and so people cannot be friends with you. Or deep inside, you believe that you can never be understood, and this is going to your belief that you are different than others and you are like weird, not like anybody else, and so on. Or maybe you find core belief that you are better than others, or maybe you can find core belief that you are much worse than others, so you cannot become friends with with other people. So the point is that we take our problem in our present daily life and we ask ourselves this chain of question of falling arrow. I explained this technique more in detail in previous videos in this training program, so please check them out if you haven't seen it. So you ask yourself this chain of questioning and find the core belief that stands behind this problem. It can be belief about yourself, it can be belief about the world, it can be belief about other people, and so on. Next, what you will do the same about positive things in your life. So, for example, you are pretty smart and you manage to um, concentrate when you're reading a book, you manage to understand things very fast and you have good memory and things like that. So find core belief behind that. Like normally core belief behind that is I am smart or I am talented. If you notice that you manage to communicate with people well, find core belief about that. Like, for example, that other people are friendly and I'm friendly and I can always find somebody to be friends with. So, or even if I don't find somebody to be friends with, I could still friendly communicate with them. So your goal is finding core beliefs behind advantages and disadvantages in your present life. This is exercise number 1. Feel free to take your time to pause the video. Exercise number 2. Please write down your different life spheres, like, for example, finances, work, maybe self-development or hobbies, maybe your family, maybe also friendships, love and romantic relationships. What else? Creativity, maybe spirituality, religion, if you're a religious person. What else? So, all possible spheres of life. And your task is also to analyze which core beliefs you might be having in each of those spheres, because we have many different core beliefs and then they can vary according to the sphere. So um, for example, you have core belief of you being very talented and special. And this way, when you're trying to do something and you don't manage it to do from the first try, you conclude that, oh, it's not something for me, let's say. So you don't try and again and again and again. So you give up after one try. This is an example how this idea that I'm special and talented can actually manifest in your professional life, let's say. Or, for example, you have this idea that you are stupid, and analyze again, how does it manifest in your professional life? Maybe it makes you try less new things. Maybe it makes you feel not confident and makes you check every single task that you are doing, and because of it you lose a lot of time and overwork. So our goal is to basically take one life sphere and analyze all possible core beliefs that you might be having in this sphere, again using our falling arrow technique. So, for example, ideas about yourself, ideas also about other people. Like, ideas about other people in professional life can be like that other people are much more professional than I am. I don't deserve to work here. Others do those tasks much better, and so on and so on. So these can be like ideas about other people. Or that, for example, another example of core belief in your profession can be that the world is unfair. It doesn't matter how much I'm working or how talented I am. I can never get successful because it doesn't matter. It matters if you, let's say, look good or if you're rich or something else. Of course, partly our beliefs can be true, but the idea is not to argue if they are true or not right now. The idea is just to find those beliefs. So we do check our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world, talking about profession. It can also be that only professions that are boring can be bringing enough money to me. So I have to tolerate working in boring job, for example. So it can be different kind of ideas, and you can use the falling arrow technique in order to find core beliefs behind those ideas. We analyze sphere by sphere. So first you can analyze maybe professional sphere and career. Next you can analyze maybe finances and money. Which core beliefs you have about finances? Like, for example, you have a core belief that I am poor, and you kind of don't even let yourself to think in some broader way. You kind of get stuck in this self-limiting belief. Or maybe your belief is that what else? Some people have really funny beliefs, like, if I spend money it will attract more money in my life. If I pray in the right way and meditate, the money will manifest in my life or whatnot. This is so-called magical thinking. So maybe you will find something like that. So analyze your ideas about your own finances, about others people's finances, about the world and how money works in the world. Maybe you will find ideas that different distorted ideas. For example, that if I only work very hard I can become a billionaire. Not possible. Most likely no. Most billionaires and such, they are not hard workers. They didn't get billionaires by working hard. Or maybe you have the opposite idea that you have to have rich parents, otherwise you can never afford anything in life. So this is also like kind of distorted generalization, because it's a bit exaggeration of the truth. So anyway, what we're gonna do is that we analyze your sphere of finances and you find different kind of distortions. And of course, how distorted it is varies greatly on where you live. So, for example, in some countries, in some cultures, in some economic situations and times, one belief can be true and not true in other situations. So we don't argue if they're true or not. We just find all the possible beliefs that you have about yourself, about other people, about the world related to money and finances. Then you do the same about family. Like you write down all your core beliefs or all of your assumptions or all of your stereotypes about family. So you can write down ideas about children, ideas about getting married, blah, 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 blah. And all of those are also your beliefs. Next, what you can do, what you can write down is also ideas about society. Like, for example, gender problems are very high topic right now, hot topic. You can write this down. You can write down any kind of expectations you were taught as a woman or as a man, or as just non-binary or anything else. So basically, you write down all the societal expectations of you. You can also write down influence from your religion and how which beliefs you have in this religious sphere of your life. So basically, we take every sphere of your life and we analyze which core beliefs we have in that. Take special attention to friendships and love relationships and relationships with people in general, because there are many core beliefs activated in attachment. Attachments really activate our emotional self and emotional core beliefs. What else? You can also have core beliefs about your health. You can have core beliefs about your appearance, look, about your body. You can have core beliefs about mental health, about emotions, for example. Like some people can have core beliefs that emotions are dangerous or uncontrollable or harmful or something like that. I have a whole separate training. Emotional schema therapy is exactly for that. So we go through each sphere of your life that you can think of and ask yourself falling arrow questions to find the core beliefs in this sphere. Like, for example, if you don't manage to find the job and it really, really upsets you, what kind of core beliefs does this situation trigger? Or you are in a safe, happy relationship, but you're feeling anxious. What kind of core belief is triggered here that leads to this anxiety, for example? So we try to find different core beliefs depending on your life spheres and life circumstances, and also in relation to your health, to your body, to your mind, to your emotions, to your self-control, self-discipline, and all that. Please, again, feel free to pause the video and take your time to write it all down. So at this point, we have whole long list about your core beliefs, about yourself. How did we do it? First one. Yeah, we did it using well, you will watch the beginning, you will remember. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. And second one, second exercise also gives us a long list of core beliefs. What we do next? What we do next is we make it in a table. So you, on the left, you write down your core belief that you found out during this investigation. On the right, you try to remember where this belief comes from. And I promise you, in like 99%, you can find the source. Like, for example, your core belief is that the world is chaotic and without order. And you can ask yourself, like, where does this come from? Where did I get this idea? And for example, you got this idea because your parents were arguing all the time, fighting all the time. It was unpredictable, chaotic environment in your family. Another example, your core belief is that, let's say, you're fat. And where does this core belief come from? And you try to remember how did it appear in your head, because our ideas and beliefs don't appear out of nowhere. So you remember all the media, all the magazines, all the, internet influencers, or who else, all the diet culture in the media that imposed this on you. You also remember how your mother criticized her own body, and this way you kind of accepted that this is the way to treat your body. You also remember something, like all the possible situations which led to this belief appearing. Or maybe you had, for example, a small brother or a small sister, and you were feeling very big compared to them, so you started feeling like you're too big, for example. Or maybe you have this core idea that you are too loud, you need to be smaller, you need to be more modest, and you are too loud, you take too much space. Again, ask yourself, where does this come from? Maybe in your home place you didn't have your own space, personal space, you didn't have your own room, and everybody was complaining all the time when you were trying to do something that you like. So you got this idea that I'm too loud. Maybe you have this idea that other people are very critical and dangerous. So you got this idea, let's say, from your teenage years when you were bullied, or you got this idea that you are evil, or that you are selfish or a bad person. Maybe it comes from your parents shaming you when you were crying in childhood, for example, and calling you selfish and spoiled. So basically, all of our core beliefs, they come from some life circumstances. Either our parent or a teacher or somebody else told us something, or we had to face some kind of painful experience after which we got this core belief. Either this core belief let us adapt to very painful situation, like for example, if your parent was physically abusive towards you, many children end up blaming themselves instead of, placing this responsibility on their parent. And these can lead to core beliefs like, I am bad, I deserve to be punished, I deserve to be beaten, and all that. So our goal for this task is to find the origin the origin the origin of your core beliefs, and write a whole list down. It will take you some time, especially if you have never done this exercise, so feel free to take it as your home task for the next week. Making a whole list of your different beliefs, I recommend you group them as: first group, beliefs about myself; second group, beliefs about the world; third group, beliefs about other people. So yes, and basically find out the origin of those beliefs and where they come from. And again, I'm repeating that our beliefs oftentimes are very distorted, very black and white. They are oftentimes coming from our traumatizing past, and they do not reflect reality. They do not define who we are. Instead, they just distort our perception of reality. They make us notice things that correspond to those beliefs and completely ignore things that do not correspond. I explained it more in detail in the previous video. So good luck writing your list. If you feel like crying or something like that when writing it, it's okay. If you feel like you realize how much influence it had in your life, it's also fine. Just go through those emotions and feel them. Emotions cannot hurt you. And I will see you in the next video. Hopefully you find nice ideas. But you remember that we do the same about good core beliefs, positive core beliefs. So for example, if you have core belief that you are smart, where does this come from? Or if you have core belief that you are beautiful, where does this come from? What events led you to this core belief? So this exercise shouldn't be only said, it should be kind of both. So both good and said. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.